The woman fell asleep on the bed without wearing a skirt, and a sharp little dagger grazed her shoulder and peach-shaped hips, sending a tingling current through her entire body. The woman hurriedly touched herself. Could it be her boyfriend had come over? Groggily, she sat up from the bed, put on her right slipper, but after fumbling with her left foot for a long time, she couldn't find the other shoe. She bent down to feel around with her hand. At this moment, the sharp dagger appeared again and kindly nudged the slipper forward. After putting on her shoes, she adjusted her slipping shoulder strap, got up, and walked out of the room, swaying as she checked around the room. At this moment, a masked man suddenly appeared behind her, waiting. After circling the large villa, she remembered that her boyfriend was long gone, and this wasn't even her own home anymore. How could her boyfriend possibly find her here? Then, she went back to bed to continue sleeping. The woman's name was Yurong. She had just broken up with her boyfriend recently, and he had taken everything with him in one go. That day, the landlord came to collect the rent. Yurong only had a few bucks left, which was far from enough for the rent. Seeing Yurong's good figure, the landlord immediately had bad intentions. But Yurong was as pure as jade and refused. The landlord gave her an ultimatum, demanding she pay the rent within 2 days, or else he wouldn't care whether she agreed or not. After saying this, the landlord left with a wicked smile. Only then did Yurong remember she had to go to work, so she hurriedly grabbed a newspaper to use as an umbrella and left. That boyfriend was really too much, not even leaving her an umbrella. When Yurong finally arrived at the company, the boss's wife told her she was fired because she was too young and beautiful, distracting the boss from his work. The boss wanted to explain, but the boss's wife scolded him. Now, she was in a real pickle. No boyfriend, no job, and the landlord demanding rent soon. Just when Yurong didn't know what to do. There was suddenly a knock on the door. Someone opened the door to check, but no one was there, only a mysterious little box on the ground. Curious, she brought the box inside. At this moment, she received a mysterious phone call from an agency. The agency said they had a job for her, just to look after a villa for a wealthy person. The wealthy person would provide food, clothing, drinks, and necessities. They also offered a high reward. If you were willing, the box contained the keys to a luxury car. Although it seemed a bit unbelievable, the cash-strapped Yurong agreed. Just as he stepped out the door, he saw the landlord. The landlord warned him again to gather the rent as soon as possible. That's when Yurong pressed the car key, and it was the luxury car next to the landlord. Yurong confidently tossed the keys to the landlord, saying, "I'm not renting this place anymore." Watching Yurong drive away in the luxury car, the landlord was stunned. Did I just drive away a rich and beautiful woman without realizing it? Driving the luxury car, Yurong was so excited that his tongue was practically hanging out. Following the GPS, he left the main road and slowly entered the deep forest. At this point, his phone had lost signal. Finally, closely following the GPS, he arrived at a ruin. The place looked eerie and terrifying, with no one around. Feeling a bit scared, he planned to drive away, but the car was already gone. Just as he was at a loss, the agent arrived by car. Yurong got into the car and drove a bit further, finally arriving at the millionaire's villa. This was a luxurious villa deep in the forest, specially built by the millionaire at great expense, who also offered a high reward to have a beautiful woman manage it. That day, Yurong unfortunately arrived here, surrounded by lush greenery and the sounds of birds and flowers. Someone seemed very satisfied. Inside the villa, everything was made of pure stone and wood, looking extremely luxurious. In the middle, they introduced Yurong to the clothes he could wear freely, the food he could eat freely, and the things in the house he could use freely. After introducing most of the rooms, the agent said they had to go home. By the time the agent left, it was already dark. At this moment, a figure flashed behind Yurong. He didn't notice it. After confirming the agent was far away, Yurong let out a piercing scream. It turned out he was just too excited because he never dreamed he could live in such a place in his lifetime. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, he went upstairs, where the closet was full of designer clothes. While he was excitedly admiring the clothes, a masked man reached out with a sinister hand. Just as he was about to grab him, Yurong hugged the clothes and ran out, arriving in front of a mirror, where he started a fashion show. One moment he was in a strapless dress, the next in a camisole, sometimes all in white, sometimes all in black. The rich man was fuming. It turned out the room was full of cameras, and everything was under the rich man's watch. Finally, when he was tired of playing, someone brought red wine to the bathroom, planning to enjoy a drink while soaking in the bath, savoring every second of comfort. But the towel was really too small, not even enough to cover a large lamp. When someone went out to get a towel, the masked man came in and took the red wine. When Yurong returned with the towel, she found the red wine was gone. Then, she found it on the railing in the hallway. Could it have been taken out just now? Yurong was a bit confused. Seeing Yurong's hot figure, the masked man suddenly felt restless. Fortunately, the rich man called it off in time. After all, with such a great figure, the rich man wanted to admire it for a few more days. The masked man, unable to show off his skills, left the room angrily. The next day, Yolong woke up satisfied from a dream. walked out of the room, and accidentally stepped on an animal's corpse. It was a prank by the masked man. However, Yolong didn't mind and used a 9-finger nail to pick it up and throw it out. In the evening, Yolong found a bottle of Mendao donkey. He happily climbed the stairs, but the masked man followed closely behind. In no time, Yurong fell asleep. Then, the scene from the beginning happened. The masked man wanted to tickle Yurong. Yurong thought it was her boyfriend. After searching the room, she realized her boyfriend was long gone. In the blink of an eye, it was the next morning, and she felt a bit of a headache, thinking the wine wasn't that good. She casually threw it into the trash can. Going downstairs to clean the room, she thought of the large outdoor bathtub. Holding a small camisole, she walked out of the room, opened the switch on the bathtub, and pulled off the cover. Her aunt was puzzled as she stripped off her clothes. All of this was seen by the masked man from afar. The masked man's blood was boiling, and his breathing became rapid. Someone sneaked in completely naked and got into the bathtub. He lay inside, enjoying the bath. The little fake teeth kept excitedly bobbing up. While bathing, he didn't forget to admire the beautiful scenery around. In his excitement, he even stood up to take a look. At this moment, someone suddenly appeared behind him. He was so scared that he hurried. With a thud, he fell to the ground. I really don't know if it was because he was injured or because he was excited by Yurong's body. When the policeman woke up again, he was already lying on the sofa, and Yurong, dressed sexily, was sitting beside him. The policeman saw a beautiful woman, and his injuries seemed to heal halfway instantly. However, when Yurong put on clothes, he almost didn't recognize her. The two engaged in some idle chatter, followed by an exciting 30 seconds. Afterwards, Yurong thoughtfully cooked for the policeman. All of this was seen by the tycoon. The tycoon called Big Slick and told him to find an opportunity to get rid of the policeman. This guy is now interfering with my observation. After the policeman had eaten and drunk his fill, the two happily chatted. The policeman packed his things and prepared to leave. Where did you put my vest? It's in the washing machine over there. Oh, my. The policeman hurried over to get it, being very cautious because there was a flashbang inside. If it exploded, the consequences would be unimaginable. The policeman carefully took the flashbang outside and placed it on the railing to air it out. Just as the policeman finished dressing, gunshots suddenly rang out nearby. It was the tycoon's men who had arrived. The policeman grabbed his gun and rushed out. The masked man heard the gunshots and was very angry. He grabbed a sledgehammer and charged in. Bash only needed one hit to smash the head. The masked man, carrying the sledgehammer, burst into the room, startling Yurong inside. Yurong hurriedly ran out of the room, grabbing the flashbang from the railing as she went. Yurong ran desperately ahead, with the masked man chasing closely behind. Seeing that escape was impossible, someone hid behind a large table, pulled the pin from the flashbang, and threw it directly at the masked man's chest. The masked man shivered in fright, thinking he had been shot. Looking at the flashbang on the ground, the masked man was utterly confused. Someone peeked out to check. Could it be a dud? Just then, with a bang, sparks flew, and the flashbang exploded. Both fell to the ground, and Yorong's eyes were blurred, as if she had lost her sight. He groped forward with his hands, only to end up at the masked man's feet. Realizing something was wrong, Yurong hurriedly turned and ran in the opposite direction, only to accidentally bump into a tree branch, fainting on the spot. The masked man pinned Yurong against a big tree. 30 seconds later, the masked man brought a tree branch, ready to deliver the final deadly blow to Yurong. Just then, with a loud bang, a gunshot rang out, and the masked man was shot in the shoulder. Yurong also woke up from unconsciousness. It turned out to be that police officer. He told Yurong to run quickly. Yurong hurriedly fled again. On the way, he encountered a car. Without thinking much, Yurong climbed onto it. Upon closer inspection, the driver was the millionaire watching from the screen. What will happen to Yurong's fate next? We don't need to guess. We surely know. The bloody slaughter in the movie ends here. This movie tells us that there's no such thing as a free lunch. Driving a nice car, living in a good house, and still having money. How could such a thing exist in the world? If it really does, and I'll go for you. Alright then. If you want to see more great movie reviews, please follow me. Bye bye.
Yeah.